Hey, what's up guys? John here. Venice Beach is now hell on earth. Just last year, 10 million tourists came to Venice Beach. And they supported the city with tax revenue, eating at the restaurants, buying the goods. And now, that's fallen off a cliff. But not just that. Politicians made some rapid changes to Venice and crime has skyrocketed. You will no longer feel safe in Venice Beach. And in this video, I'm going to give you the tour. I'm going to update you on what the politicians just did to this city. And I'm going to educate you on the real estate market. I believe Venice Beach is going to be one of the cities that crashes the hardest in America. You had Apple leave, Google leave, you had Snapchat leave, Amazon leave. They're all going east where there is no income tax, where they can get a lot of square footage for less money, and the politicians are much more business friendly. So please hit that like button. It's a great way to support the channel. Consider subscribing. We talk about all things personal finance, business, and real estate, and let's begin. So we'll start with the changes first. So meanwhile, a recent study conducted by Loyola Marymount College that surveyed public opinions of Angelenos on matters of policing found that nearly 2 out of 3 support proposals to redirect funds from the police department to local programs. And 1 out of 3 support proposals to completely dismantle the police department. 1 out of 3 people want to completely dismantle the police department. Well, let's see how this is changing the streets of Venice Beach. Venice Beach then, a police officer went out and was patrolling the area. And someone spoke to him and said, "Why can't you do anything about this big problem?" And he responded and said this in quotes. This article will be pinned down below as well as all the information for this video. So they just officially cut our unit in half. And they told us not to mess with the homeless. A LA Police Department beach officer told the resident, "What we used to do, we can't do anymore based on political situations." Based on political situations. So this is the change that just happened. LAPD units focus on sexual assault, animal cruelty, and the homeless outreach will be disbanded. The Safer Cities initiatives in the Mission area and the burglary special section and cargo auto theft detail of the Commercial Crimes Division are also set to be cut. Unbelievable.
Right before the pandemic, they wouldn't allow this to be here. But what gets me is that they don't have it in Santa Monica. They also don't have it in Beverly Hills. You know, they're doing things about that, and they're saying, well, we got to defund it. But you're also 30,000 strong. You know, it's like you would let one of your biggest tourist attractions be depreciated willingly. You're just letting it die, and the people that work here and has been working here are dying. You know, we will be a part of that. You know, jobless. You know, and if you, man, it's crazy. It's bad. It's really bad. And it's like once upon a time we were the 3rd most visited place in the state of California. You know, people were coming from around the world just to be on Venice Beach. It hasn't happened, man. It's done, and they still want to charge people. You know, what? $3,300 for a small apartment on the beach, or $200 a night in a hotel. What are you talking about? You know, who wants to come out of their hotel or their apartment and see homeless encampments? You know, I have nothing against the homeless. Some people are in dire straits and need help, but some of these people don't want help. They don't need help, and all they want to do is self-indulge, and that's selfishness. They don't care about if we made money or anything. As you see, my hill is 90% clean compared to what you would see down there. It's because I took it to the streets. I got the homeboys looking out for my hill, and hey, you know, I'm sorry to be hardcore and cold-blooded, but that's the way you have to be now for people that don't want to do for themselves. There are several brand new homeless shelters around here that the taxpayers pay for. They don't want to go in because they don't want to follow a curfew. They don't want to follow rules. But you guys, you know, the bleeding hearts say, oh, they're homeless. Man, they're homeless by choice. You know, and they don't have to be. And it's just going to get worse, man, you know. And it's like, this used to be the place of art, the place of people, you know, mom and pop shops. They won't change this, but I bet you if Nike came out and bought a building, This shit'll be cleaned up in a day. And they will lose their multi-billion-dollar corporation. They say they have a no corporation clause on Venice Beach, but they let Starbucks out of here. That's the first step. Starbucks don't care if they make a dime. They just want a store on Venice Beach. If they never made $1 at all from this store, it would still be the promotions of saying we got a store on Venice Beach. But then they're going to say, oh, we're broke. So we're going to remove that corporation clause and let corporations come out here. And then once you get a Nike, once you get a, what else? Nike, anything as far as multi-billion-dollar corporations. Hey, beautiful, good to see you. Multi-billion-dollar corporations that just use this as a tax write-off, it'll be the end of the mom and pops and the artsy Venice. It'll be just like 3rd Street Promenade. We already got one. We got a Rodeo Drive. Why would you want another? Good luck with your too, man. You know.
Thank you so much.
My name is Derek. They call me OG out here in Venice. Come see me on Westminster, and I'll talk your ear off. Peace. God bless.
How long have you been a resident of Venice Beach?
Since 1966.
And how has the pandemic impacted your life?
Well, in terms of problems with homelessness and stuff, we, like this last night, there were in this block 7 vehicles with people sleeping in them, and it makes it difficult for us to rent our properties. So, for instance, there's 2 cottages here that are going to be coming back on the market. Our tenant left. They bought a house, so good for them. We face a big problem, though, trying to get new tenants to come when they see homeless folks living right across the street. So it's a difficult time. What can you say? You want to have compassion, but at the same time, you're economically hurt by the situation. So it's a yin-yang. What can we do?
And Abercrombie is the Rodeo Drive of Venice Beach. This is where everyone comes to spend their money and spend their time. Look to the right, you'll see for rent. Look to the left, for rent. And then again, for rent. These offices and these spaces are getting freed up daily as people flee Venice Beach and go elsewhere due to crime and the shutdowns. And here's the neighborhood: $7,950 for a 2-bedroom, $7,250 for another 2-bedroom, $19,500 per month for a 3-bedroom, and then $6,500 a month for a 2-bedroom. So maybe you think that renting in Venice Beach is a ripoff, because the idea of spending $15,000 or $20,000 just to move in to the apartment with deposit and first month's rent, not including furnishing it, getting the utilities on, and getting everything set up. So maybe you have some money in the bank, maybe you've done really well for yourself, and you want to buy a place near the beach in LA. So look at the price points. For you to get anything in that area is going to cost you about $3 million. About $3 million is about the median price point in these specific areas. So that being said, your average income should be about $500,000 net income, meaning you have $600,000 in liquid cash for a down payment. So you've been saving up, $50,000 a year for 12 years. You have $600,000 in liquid cash, and you want to go all in on a house in Venice. Well, you could barely afford it. Even with these very low interest rates today. And don't forget who your neighbors would be. They would be the homeless encampments across the street with massive fires that happen almost daily as they fight over drugs and theft. And the police do nothing about it. As you can see, everybody in Venice Beach that has the ability to work from home, that has the money, that has the means, they're packing up and they're getting out of Venice. and they're going to go likely to Florida or Texas or Nevada or somewhere with sane politicians and no income tax, and they can get a lot more bang for their buck. Because who wants to spend $10,000 or $20,000 a month to rent or own a place in this area and you can't take a walk at night? This is the level of Venice Beach now. A couple years ago, it was hip and cool and trendy. Everybody wanted to be there. You'd make $250,000, $300,000 a year, and it was kind of a median income, and everyone was happy, and it was just a rich, hip, kind of like a little hipster area. But now it's beyond sketchy. But what we're seeing now is massive corruption from Eric Garcetti. He said it was $150 million he was going to issue to BLM and for defunding the police. Then he raised that to $250 million, $250 million. And you look at the police breakdown, the actual budget breakdown, and you'll see that a lot of that money didn't hit that community. And there's a lot of controversy on where that money is actually going. Then you look at Gavin Newsom. He took $3 million from the coronavirus relief aid for California that was supposed to go to small business, and it went to his subsidiary companies that were struggling. This is massive corruption on a large scale, bigger than anything that we've ever seen. And I believe that California is going to get hit at a just massive degree. San Francisco, LA, they're going to see huge price reductions in rents and property values in the next 12 to 24 months. This number is only going to continue to grow because they're going to push out all the high-paying jobs. These high-paying jobs, these jobs create more jobs, and they fund tax revenue and sales tax and all these things that keep the communities going. But if you're going to make the communities to a point to where it's not safe to go outside, and there's homeless encampment fires and stabbings and shootings around multi-million-dollar houses, people are going to leave. And I had a dream of owning a property here. You could buy a little cottage not that far from this specific area that I was showing you the comps around $3 million, where you could buy them for $1.3, $1.4 million, little tiny houses. But you could build a duplex in the back, and the rents were still really, really high. Just one of those units in the back would have covered the entire mortgage. The other one would have been profit, and you could live for free. So that was my plan, and now I don't plan to do it. I have an 11-month-old son. There's no way I'm going to put him in that type of situation being in Venice Beach. It makes no sense. But, California, we'll see where it goes. If you're a real estate investor in California or you live in California, drop your comments below. Do you think that this is going to continue? Do you think it's going to get better? Or where do you see 2021 going for the state of California? And consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next video.